Welcome everybody. You guys know the plan for today. I think for the most part, if you don't, what I wanted to do here, Chantal, make me admin, please. What I wanted to do here, guys, is jump on. Obviously, you guys are practicing amongst each other. For those of you that are in the coaching, you guys are role playing, which is awesome. You guys do have also these sales call recordings in the members area. But I felt that it would probably be useful if you guys kind of heard the role play at a bit of a higher level. So I'm gonna do one or two role plays right now. You guys can volunteer to be the prospect, okay? And I will kind of answer some questions at the end of the role play. If you have any questions about what I said, why I said it, or what I did, what I didn't do. Okay, so let's dive in. I got a sharp stop at about 12:45, so it'll be just under an hour. But let us begin. Okay, who wants to be the prospect? Just drop it in the chat if you want to be a prospect. Say that you want to be a prospect. I will pick you guys. Okay. Serge, all right, let's rock, man. Let's rock it out. I know a lot of you guys kind of practice selling e-com, so I will go with e-com, and then for the second role play, if I have time for a second role play, we'll either do fitness or something in a different industry so that the core motion that we're selling to is a little bit different. Okay. Any questions you guys have, you can drop them in the chat, but I'm going to be primarily focusing on the role play, and then I'll answer some questions after. Okay, let's begin. Hey, Serge.
Yes, this is Serge.
Serge, what's going on, man? It's Dylan calling from Ecom Academy. How's your day been?
Oh, hey, man. Good, man. Just doing some Uber, dude.
Doing some Uber, right on, man. How long you been in the car today for?
Actually, I just started about an hour ago.
Okay.
The one thing I like is being able to, say when I start and when I stop. But yeah, no, I was really looking forward to your call, man.
Awesome, man. Well, listen, dude, what I want to do here on this call, I'm going to ask you a few questions, get to know a bit about you, really see if and how I could actually support you. And if I can, I'm going to do my best to show you how. Okay. And if not, I'll just kind of guide you in the right direction. Is that okay?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Awesome. Well, Serge, tell me a little bit more about what you got going on. You told me you got Uber, you're just getting the day started. Tell me a little bit more about what you actually got going on.
Not a whole lot, man. I started doing Uber about a year ago. I was doing remote sales, over the phone, and our company just completely just crashed and burned, and like 40% of us got laid off. A bunch of people did afterwards as well, and that I had never been in a position like that. I have always left, being in sales, I always left a job to approach a better opportunity on my own terms, and I just went in. I started, I started picking up some bad habits, drinking, smoking. I was depressed. I didn't want to do anything. So now I'm started doing Uber full time because it felt safe. It felt like anyone can do it. As long as I can drive and say hi and bye, and read a GPS, I can do it. I didn't want to challenge myself, but I'm just so scared, man. I'm scared because I don't have a lot of money, but I do want to invest something in myself. Am I going to get taken advantage of? You know, you see all of these ads like the one on YouTube that I found you guys on, and I'm you know, I'm starting to gain a little confidence, but I'm like, oh, I'm not really all that good with computers. Like, you know, like it's just a lot going on.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And by the way, Serge, it's totally okay to kind of have that skepticism. It's totally normal, right? When, especially when you got all these people telling you all these different things. Some people are telling you to go watch the webinar, other people are saying, go buy my ebook. And one day this is a strategy that works, and tomorrow it's a whole new idea that's going around. It's kind of hard to know what to do and be confident with the decisions that you're making. So I totally hear you, and it's totally okay. But the most important thing is that you're not just sitting around watching, but you're actually taking advantage of opportunities that are presented to you, you know? And the fact that you're on this call with me shows me that you're an individual who doesn't just sit back and watch what's going on from the benches, but you actually take part. So I commend you on that. Now, Serge, what kind of work were you doing before you actually started with Uber?
I was selling luxury patio and pavilions.
Okay, right on, right on. So let me ask you, I mean, you told me that when you lost your job, you started picking up some bad habits, and then you started Uber. How come you didn't actually go look for a sales job that's in the same industry as what you were doing before, just with a different company? How come you kind of left it all behind and moved on?
I I just you know, that was my first time ever being laid off.
Mhm.
Um and I had never been let go from a position before
Yeah.
in about 11 years in sales. So I lost all my confidence. I felt so depressed, and I said, I will never, I will never put myself out there again. It's just, I'm just gonna do something safe, and Uber just felt safe, you know. Like I appreciate what you said about like not sitting around and you know, let the world pass me by. But that's what I've been doing for the past like 8 months. And like 2 months ago, I started like working out more, and I started you know, I stopped drinking so much and smoking. I cut out all, you know, any type of distraction that was fogging up my mind. And now I'm in this mindset where I'm like, I have hope. Like I'm still very unsure, like, can I actually do this? But like I have a glimmer of hope, at least enough to talk to you, you know.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And that's all it takes, because at the end of the day, you know, whenever you start something new, whether it's a business or a career, you're always going to have that uncertainty. You're always going to have that feeling of butterflies in your stomach. But the most important thing is that you have to realize you got two decisions, right? Do you kind of retract, right? When you have that feeling, do you pull back and let opportunities pass by? Or do you kind of take that first step, dip your toes in the water and actually get started and actually explore what's possible, right? Because if you never explore what's possible, you'll never know what you could have done, right? So I commend you on that, man. Especially the fact that you're taking this kind of leap of faith after being in this kind of state of insecurity for such a long time, man. That's awesome. Now, Serge, let me ask you. I mean, how's Uber going? Is it paying the bills? Is everything good? Like, where are you at with Uber?
It's barely paying the bills.
Okay.
um I don't have a lot left over. And realistically, in order to make any kind of like decent money, like I'm out there like 10, 12 hours driving around. I was like, oh, you know, I can do this, you know, this is I get to work when I want. But no, that's a trap. If you actually want to make money, like you gotta be out there grinding it the hell out. So like let's just say I'm not spending any more time with my kids like I thought I would, you
Hmm,
know?
for sure.
um you know, and like I just I just don't feel okay doing this, man. Like in the beginning, it was like a band-aid and it felt good and it was even a little exciting. But now I'm like, what the hell am I doing? I I feel like I have more to offer. I just,
What do you mean? And Serge, what is it that you mean by that? What do you mean by, yeah, more to offer?
I was you know, I was used to making anywhere from 80,000 to 110, depending on how my year in sales went. Um, and at the last position before it got bad, like 130,000. And now I'm like working so hard to make $200 in a day. And like I could tell that my my woman loves me, man. She loves me, my kids love me, but they've always looked up to me, and I can tell that I have their love, but I don't have their approval, and they just won't say it to me, you know. Makes me feel horrible, dude.
Yeah. When did you start feeling this way, Serge? Because at the
I
end of
started
the day, the money, yeah, it sucks that you kind of lost some money, but I'm sure that the bigger thing for you is that you're raising a family, you're raising kids that no longer look up to you. I'm sure that's a lot more difficult for you to really come to terms with than a couple $1,000s a month that you're no longer making. How long have you felt this way for?
I think the more that I confess what I was actually doing,
Hmm.
the better I feel. So that started happening the moment I started acting, you know, like a coward. Like I didn't want to drive forward. I just wanted to do what was safe. Um, it just the moment the moment the moment my woman realized that I went from making over 100 grand a year to working 12-hour shifts to make just over $200, I just felt I I'm not fulfilled, and I was too insecure in myself. I still kind of am, man, but like I gotta start somewhere, you know? And yeah, I just can't keep living like that.
What do you mean? I don't keep living like what?
Um, like I'm not a good example of what a driven man should be to his sons.
Why is that so important to you, man? Sounds like you're a great father, but I'm just kind of curious. Why is it that that's so important to you?
Because I want to be living proof to my boys that you can do anything you set your mind to, that without going to college, I can become a millionaire.
Okay.
I want to feel like the man of the house again, man. Honestly.
Hmm.
Honestly, my woman's making over 100 grand a year working for Penn State Health. She's doing her thing. Like I want to feel like the man of the house again.
Yeah. How's it really affected you, man, on a personal level that you no longer feel that way? How's that been?
Our relationship is still great, but I feel like, now when we hang out with friends, I used to feel like we were a power couple,
Hmm.
and now I feel like she's this big tree and I'm hiding in her shadow so that the sun won't burn me alive.
Mhm.
I just feel small. Like it's crazy. I can't believe I got to this point. I can't believe I ever got to where I am right now.
what does it make you feel like now that you're at this point?
Like I need to do something. Like I need to actually find something that's going to work for me and just go ahead and do it. So that's why I thought, hey, so many people are making money with this e-commerce stuff. Why can't I? Like I'm I may have been knocked down, but I'm not dumb. I can learn stuff, you know?
Yeah. And what is it that you really want?
I would love to get to the point where I'm making at least $8,000 a month and I can completely leave Uber. And I want to work hard, but at the same time, I want to have more time in order to spend with my kids. Uber's not letting me do that, not if I want to make decent money at it.
Is that why we're on this call today?
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly why. I don't know, man. The I've seen a lot of these ads, and this particular ad just sounded different. It sounded like it was for real. So I
What
said,
do you mean by
I don't
that?
know.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by for real?
Um, you know, I feel like I get gut feelings about things. I follow my intuition. So I've seen so many of these ads, and the moment these people start talking, like I just hit skip after the 5 seconds. But when I saw this ad, you know, one of the things he said is like, look, if you want success, you're going to put into work. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat that stuff for you, but I will, you know, it said about taking you step by step and basically holding your hand through the process. And yeah, I'm ready to work hard, but you know, it just sounded genuine. It just sounded better.
Right, right. And do you typically just kind of make decisions based on your gut feeling, Serge? Is that kind of how you roll?
Not entirely.
Hmm.
Not entirely, but if I feel a bad vibe, if I feel just bad juju, I'm not open. But if I feel some type of genuine component, then that opens me up to at least consider something, you know? Not that I'm like, oh, you know, this feels good, so I'm gonna play it all, you know, put it all in black or whatever. No, but it leaves me open to something that can potentially work, you know?
100%. And Serge, most of the people I speak to tell me the exact same thing. They tell me that the reason they actually clicked our ad as opposed to all the others they saw is because they felt that it was real. They felt it was genuine. And I'm glad you noticed that. And the reason why you feel that way is because it is genuine. It is real. We're not just another guru selling you some bullshit course, but we care about each and every one of our students. That's why you and I are actually on this call right now. Instead of me just, you know, pitching you something on a webinar, we actually get on a call so I could make sure that what we have to offer can actually help. Because if it can, then there's no point in you actually being part of this. So before I actually dive into what we got going on, I want to ask you so I know for sure, what is it exactly that you want to do? What are your goals here, Serge? How much do you really want to be making in order to be in a position where you no longer feel like you're hiding in the shadows and you can put yourself in a position where you are the man of the house and your kids do look up to you and you can restore the dynamic that you once had with your wife and your family?
Um, I have higher aspirations than what I'm gonna tell you,
Hmm.
but I need to tackle the first goal. And the first goal for me is get into something where I'm, you know, and if I can do something remotely, something that I can work from home, especially, it's important to me. Get into something where I can start making $8,000 a month.
Mhm.
This way I can feel secure to leave this Ubering, and rely on my business.
How did you come up with that number?
Because it's that number is going to pay all of my bills and leave me a good amount of money left over. Um, that's important to me. And like I said, I want to make much more than that, but like that's like my primary goal right now. And this number will give me, just extra money so that I can treat my family to more stuff,
When you
and
say,
spoil them a little
okay, what kind of things would you like to actually do for them when you are making that cut in the money?
bit. I want to take them on nicer vacations. I want the vacations to be longer. And I want to, you know, just take them out to eat more and stuff like that.
Right on. I'm just dropping comments in here, guys, as I go. Okay, okay, Serge. And do you feel that once you're making that kind of money, you'll be in a position where that relationship is restored and your kids do look up to you and you could actually do the things that you want to do rather than just paying the bills and surviving?
Yeah, yeah, that's gonna be an amazing start. I would like to grow after that, but if I don't hit that initial goal, then the rest doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
100%, because this is just a stepping stone for you, right? It ain't gonna
Yeah,
be
yeah,
100%.
absolutely.
Okay. Let me ask you, aren't you already doing that? Is it just the insecurity you felt that's kept you locked up mentally this whole time? Is that all?
Yes, eight months of just wrong mentality, no drive, fear, not believing in myself. I'm still struggling to believe in myself, but I'm much better than I was 8 months ago, or even 3 months ago, actually.
And do you feel you're at a point right now where you're ready to leave all that insecurity behind and just take the first step? That's all it takes.
Oh man, I'm just like, I have a feeling
Right.
there's going to be an initial investment, and
For sure. And by the way, Serge, I know it's difficult for you right now because you are in such a tight situation. Here's the thing though, you know that e-commerce works, correct?
yeah, that's why I looked into it. You know, I know somebody. I'm no longer in contact with them, but they got into e-commerce, and last I heard, they have a really nice house and they're doing really well.
Okay. So you know it works because you've seen it work. Let me ask you, do you believe that if you had the right tools and support system in place, that you too could actually make it happen eventually? It ain't gonna happen
I
overnight. That's the last thing I wanna make you think. That's not gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen overnight, but do you feel that with the right support system and by following the steps, you could do it too?
I don't know anything about marketing. I don't know anything about e-commerce. But I know that I can learn new concepts, and if it was the right guidance, if it was a very detailed structure that even gets into how to build a website and how to, like, I would just need extremely detailed, handheld along the way type of program or
For
course
sure.
or
For sure. And that's why so many of our students actually join us, because we don't just give you a bunch of information and hope that you figure it out. A lot of our students come into our program that are not tech savvy. A lot of our students come into our program with zero marketing experience. A lot of people have never built their own store. And that's exactly why so many people join us, because we help you and support you through every one of those steps. Okay, so you're not alone, Serge. We do this with pretty much all of our students, and that's why our people love us. Okay. Now, Serge, it seems to me like you've kind of been in this position where you've been stuck, not physically, but more so mentally, because you've had these limiting beliefs. You've been a little bit stuck because you had to work Uber to pay the bills and have the security. And because of that, you never really took that first step. But from what I'm hearing from you, you are a person who does take action, doesn't like to let things kind of just pass by. So you and I are on this call, man, because it seems like you want to start moving in the right direction. You finally freed yourself from the mental trap you were in, and you're able to actually start taking some action here. Am I understanding things correctly?
yeah. And quite honestly, I mean, I thought somebody was gonna call me and break my arm until until they got my credit card number, and like, I don't know, you just asked me a lot of questions, and like, I it just feels like you actually give a shit, man. Excuse my language, by the way.
Yeah, it's okay, man. The reason you feel that way is because I actually do. You know, I care about each and every one of my students. And that's why we have these calls in the first place. And Serge, let me ask you, I know you're working Uber right now, but can you commit, say, a couple hours every single day just to get started? And by no means am I promising you that you can work an hour or two a day and make tens of thousands of dollars a month, but it's enough to get you to the first step and start making some things happen here. So are you ready to set aside 1 to 2 hours every single day? And yes, it will require some sacrifices. Is that something you can commit to?
Yeah, that I can do. A time commitment I can definitely do. Um, I have flexibility, so why not take advantage of it?
Right on. Awesome. And let me ask you, Serge, what is it that you actually need from a support system in order for you to actually see results, right? Because everybody learns differently. How do you learn best? What do you need from us?
I don't get me wrong here. I know how to read, okay, but I hate to learn things using that approach. I'm more of a visual learner. Um, but I'm I'm at a point, I'm so foreign to e-commerce that I desperately need guidance, coaching, like I would definitely be one of those needy people that would ask a lot of questions and would need a lot of examples. And I don't know if you guys offer like coaching sessions and stuff like that, but like it's really important to I I'm just being vulnerable here. Like I feel like I need somebody to hold my hand, or a group of people to hold my hand while I'm walking this unknown road, because I have no idea of how anything works in this industry.
Totally. I get that. And I mean, we could teach you everything. We'll teach you all about the marketing, the stores, and all that sort of stuff. But what would a perfect support system actually look like where if you did have it, you would know for a fact that you cannot fail? What would that look like?
Very detailed instruction with hopefully some one-on-one, like I don't, like I don't know how many students you guys have and stuff, but it's like, there's like if there could be time where a window of time could be dedicated to, okay, Sergio, what are you struggling with?
Mhm.
What are you not understanding? And for that to be basically spoon fed to me.
Okay, and if you had that kind of level of intimacy and hand-holding support, do you feel that that would get you to your goal of at least $8,000 a month? To put you in a position where you have those relationships, you have that leadership, you're the leader of the pack in your family, and you're actually the man of the house?
Yeah, I feel like if I did have that level of coaching through the process, I feel like I definitely, I would do everything. I would put in all the effort with the right instruction and the right coaching. I know that I can do it. I just don't know if I'm asking too much, like.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. Well, Serge, if that's the case, man, I definitely do think we could actually support you. Would you like me to tell you about how our coaching works?
Yeah, I would love that.
Awesome. So, Sergio, there's really only three components to succeeding with e-commerce. Number one is your storefront. Okay, because if your store doesn't look professional, nobody's going to want to swipe their card. They're not going to trust it. That's number one. Number two is the products. If you're selling shitty products, nobody's going to want to buy. And then number three is the marketing, because you could have the most beautiful store. It could look like Apple. You could have the best product, but if nobody knows about it and you're not getting eyeballs to see that product, you're not going to get any sales. So these are the three components you got to have down. Okay. Now, the way we're actually going to show you how to do all this is in a very hands-on system that we built throughout the years. Okay, so the first thing you're going to get access to is our Ecom Academy University. And what this is actually a step-by-step blueprint for you to launch, build, and scale your e-commerce business. We teach you everything on product research, so how to find products that are going to sell rather than just randomly guessing products and wasting thousands of dollars not knowing if they're going to sell. We're going to teach you how to build your own store. Okay, so that once we build yours, you have that, but you also have the knowledge and ability to build one yourself in the future. And then number three, the marketing. We're going to teach you in these step-by-step video modules from the baby steps of how to launch your first ad campaign all the way to how to algorithmically scale and target the right audiences using Facebook ads and Google ads. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah, actually the marketing, I didn't know if you guys taught that, but that's what scares me the most.
For sure. And that's totally normal because that's something you've never really seen before. And that's exactly why we have the coaching calls that we do. They're done twice a week, every Monday and Friday. And what we do on these coaching calls is we actually share screens, just like you and I are on a Zoom right now. We could share screens and help you launch your ads together with you. Instead of you guessing the demographics, the audiences, the targeting, you can actually share your screen with Bob, your coach, and he will actually show you click by click who you should be targeting in order to get the highest possible return on your investment with every dollar you put into marketing. Does that make sense?
Wow. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, so we really make it dummy proof. There's no room to fail. We show you exactly how to do it. Okay, and once you start learning, at the end of the day, yes, we're here to coach you and support you, but we're not here to babysit you. So we're actually going to invite you to join our private Facebook community where you could ask questions and learn from other members who are already doing this successfully. So that not only do you have support from our team and Bob, Coach Bob, but you actually have support from everybody who's already been doing this and is already steps ahead. Okay, so you have literally a network of hundreds of people at your fingertips who can support you through the process A through Z. Okay, Sergio, and then the last part, which I think is going to be your favorite, is we'll actually build your first store, your first website for you. Okay, because we've been doing this for so long, we actually have a team of developers that works with us in the office. We'll actually build and launch your first website for you. So you don't have to find the product to sell. You don't have to do any of the custom coding, anything like that. We'll build you a store so you could dive right into the marketing and hit the ground running. Okay, Sergio, does that all make sense?
Wow, that sounds awesome, especially if you build a website. I didn't know you did that for
Yeah,
us.
100%, 100%, Sergio. So yeah, man, that's how everything works. That's how our coaching program runs. And here's the best part, man. We don't charge an arm and a leg. We don't take any of the profit that you're going to be making. You keep it all. For you to be part of this and have access for life, it's literally a one-time investment of $5,000.
Um, man, wow, like, is this your direct number? Because I wanted to kind of just wrap my head around it. And like I definitely want to work with you because you've been awesome. But I just it's a big decision.
Gotcha. Totally. And yeah, this is my personal number, and you will have contact with me throughout the entire process. Now, Sergio, what is it exactly that's holding you back from taking that first step?
Dude, I kind of feel bad because I just didn't know it was gonna be like $5,000.
Hmm, okay, gotcha. I understand. And is it just $5,000 that's holding you back? Is that all that's in the way?
Yeah, yeah. That's a lot of money, man.
And when you said that you wanted to work with me specifically, what did you mean by that, and how come?
I just you asked if why I want this to work. Is that what you said?
No, I said, why is it that you want to work with me specifically? You said you want to work with me. Why do you want to
Oh,
work with me?
I don't know. I've had people try to sell me things in the past and never like this. Like I don't know, you seem really genuine. Like you just give me a good feeling.
Okay. So it's not anything to do with me. It's really just the $5,000. And Sergio, let me ask you, is it that you don't have the $5,000, or is it just a little bit difficult to scrape together right now?
Look, I'm gonna be honest. Like I could swipe a credit card for $5,000 right now. I have a credit card that I can use, and I'm really tempted right now.
But
Uh,
what?
but like it's $5,000, even though it's credit, like I'll have to pay it back, and like I just it's a lot of money to pay back.
Sure. Right. And let me ask, I mean, do you believe in e-commerce? You told me earlier you do, so I assume that you believe that this is gonna work out. Am I correct?
I do, man. I do. I, I do believe in it.
Okay, and do you believe that this would be the right support system to get you there? Get you to a position where you're making at least $8,000 a month?
Dude, I didn't even know you guys would build a website. Like, yeah, I mean, everything you said about the programming, the coaching, and the peers that are ahead of you helping you along the way, like that, it just seems like a great opportunity.
Gotcha. So it's really just that you're a little bit uncomfortable swiping your card. And Sergio, man, I totally hear you. Typically speaking, most of the people I talk to are in the same boat. And if you did just have 5 grand to throw at me, you probably wouldn't be on this call with me today. The fact that you're struggling and you have to think about the $5,000 investment is exactly why you should be doing it. So that you're never in this position again. You're never thinking twice about investing in yourself, especially such a relatively small amount. So, Serge, I know it's difficult and I know it's something you want to do. And I know that you kind of have these butterflies in your stomach, but whether it's your business, your friends, your family, your career, relationships, you're always going to have to take a step out of your comfort zone if you're going to want to see a change. And you were telling me earlier that you're in a position where you're just fucking sick and tired of being sick and tired, man. You're tired of Uber, you're tired of not being the man of the house. So let me ask you, what's going to cost you more? Doing the program or not doing it?
Wow. Shit. Not doing it, I guess.
So what do you say? You want to rock and roll?
I, Hmm.
Keep
Can I
going.
call you back tomorrow?
Serge, you can be difficult on this role play. Don't worry.
Can I call you back tomorrow?
100%. You can call me back tomorrow. You can call me back next week. You can call me back next year too. And I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that the price is gonna go up or anything like that, but the reality of it is, man, the longer you wait, the further your goal gets. The question is not really about when do you swipe the card for 5 grand. The question is, how important is it to you that you become the man of the house, that you make $8,000 a month, that you stop working 12 hours a day and spend time with your family, especially your kids as they grow up. The question is not about the 5 grand. It's about how soon you want it.
I want to do this. I want to do this as soon as possible. Like I would not take a month or a year. Like, I would literally call you tomorrow. Just, you know.
Sergio, when people tell me they're going to call me tomorrow, either number one, they never do, or number two, it shows me that they're not somebody who could make decisions in their business. And the people who see the results are people who are decisive, because you got to be decisive in business. So I understand that it's a little bit difficult. I know it's tough. And here's the thing, nobody told you it's going to be easy. But you got to decide for yourself what your priorities are, dude. What's more important to you, keeping 5 grand in your pocket today or putting your kids and family in a position where you guys can go travel. Putting yourself and your family in a position where you're actually the leader of the pack. Putting yourself and your kids in a position where they could actually look up to you as a father. Is that not worth $5,000?
Dude, I'm embarrassed to ask you this, but can I put it on 2 separate credit cards?
If that's what it takes, then sure. But the most important thing for me is not really the payment. I need you to actually make the commitment. Because the last thing I want you to do is just swipe your card and go sleep at night and all you're thinking about is this $5,000. I want you to come in ready to go. I want you to come in and take action today. I want you to come in and start going to the course today and start learning today. Are you ready to take that first step, Sergio? I'm not worried about the $5,000. I don't need the money. Are you ready to come in and start making this happen?
There's no way I would waste $5,000. So I'm ready, man. I want to work harder than anybody else in that freaking program.
Do you promise me you're gonna do that?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I have to. I have no other choice. The only thing that'll stop me is dying, man. That's it.
Let's rock and roll. So Sergio, what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna send you over a registration link. We're gonna get it, we're gonna get the investment out of the way, and we're gonna get your account set up, okay?
Yeah, that sounds good. And when do I get to start?
Well, it's up to you. How soon do you want to see your goals?
Like right now.
So let's start right now.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you.
Okay, that wraps up the role play. That was longer than I anticipated, but we're gonna wrap up there. We're only gonna do one role play. Okay, so hopefully you guys got some value out of this. I will upload this recording into this members area. So I will take a couple minutes here and answer some questions for you guys. If you have a question, just drop the word question in the chat and I will allow you guys to unmute yourselves and ask some questions here, okay?
Yeah, that was Ninja Sensei.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, Julius, go ahead.
When a prospect goes that deep, I feel obligated to tell a story.
Yeah,
And I noticed that you didn't tell
can
a
you hear me?
story at all.
Why
Why was
do
that?
we
So I'm
tell
actually-
stories to evoke emotion, right? There was no need to evoke emotion. I was already getting so much emotion from him, right? A lot of people, it's funny actually, a lot of people, when you guys study my steps to handling objections, I ask you guys, what's step 1? Everyone gets it right, neutralize. What's step 2? Isolate. Everyone gets it right. What's step 3? Gain commitment. Everyone gets it right. What's step 4? A lot of people say, tell a story. That's not what step 4 is. Step 4 is evoke emotion. The way we do that is by telling a story. So we tell stories to evoke emotion. We don't tell stories just for the sake of telling a story. I didn't need more emotion. I had enough. So that's why I didn't give any stories. Okay? All right, next.
Yeah, got you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, next question. Shaq, what's up?
Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out like what are the cues to when you should know, okay, I need to dig deeper into this. Like what in the beginning of the call, like what are the cues?
The point, you have to understand the purpose of every step. The purpose of situational based questions is to, yes, find out about their situation, but more importantly, to discover their pain points. You got to dig deep until you get real good pain points. If they're a move away buyer, if they're a move towards buyer, then on vision, you have to dig deep on the why. Why you want $8,000? Why is it that you want it? So you got to keep digging deeper until you really achieve the purpose of that step. Okay.
Okay, appreciate it.
Awesome. Next question, Jason. Oh, it was direct message, but Jason, go ahead. I see your message here.
Yeah, my fault. I did that in the wrong way.
You're good.
First of all, Sergio, man, thanks for being so candid. That was awesome. Secondly, how did you know when you was self-selling that he gave you a vague statement? What made you decide that?
1 second. Say it again.
When you was self-selling solution, he gave you,
Yeah.
you said it was vague when he said, I need coaching, I need support or whatever. What made you decide that it was a vague statement and made you go deeper?
Well, everybody needs coaching. It's okay. So what I want to know in that step is how do you want it to be delivered? Or I want group calls, or I want a community, or I want somebody to hold my hand. And then when he said, hold my hand, I'm like, okay, that's enough. Because if somebody says, oh, I want coaching, you can't, it's not concrete enough to know that what you presented them with is exactly what they wanted. Maybe they wanted coaching, but the way they wanted coaching is an interactive course, right? So I need something super concrete so that I know that he can't give me objection of like, oh, I'm not sure that this is right for me. I need something super concrete. Make sense?
Got you. Yeah, it does. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Mike.
Hey Dylan. So I noticed that you didn't necessarily dedicate like an entire step towards consequence questions.
I skipped consequential entirely because he was telling me about.
Yeah.
I didn't need consequences because he was already telling me all his pains about how he doesn't feel like a man, how he feels like he's hiding, how he feels he's not a good example for his kid. Those are already consequences that exist in the present moment. So I don't need consequences of what if you don't make a change, because the same shit's just going to keep happening.
Yeah, so the fact that you dug so deep and got quality and it uncovered everything in situational is kind of what allowed that. And
that's I say that in the course actually. If you guys go look at consequential, I say a couple times we typically skip this step. If you do a good job, you're skipping consequential for this exact reason. So I'm glad you picked that up.
Yeah, and I actually just wanted to ask, do you think you could include this as part of like the actual course? Because I know we have some role plays in there. I think it would be a shame for this to get. Yeah, just didn't want this to get buried in the archives, and I'm going through them, but I think if it's part of the course, I think it would just be so valuable. I really appreciated it, and I loved it. Thank you, Dylan.
Awesome, thanks. Okay, we should have more of these types of elements. It means to be able to copy this and feel like I was doing. Yeah, sure, we could try that thing. I believe is really good for providing. Awesome. Thank you, Mike. All things I want doing some awesome question. Ray.
Yeah, man. First of all, great job. Your tonality, man, was like you were moving with it. How did you know when at the end when you were overcoming the objections, because you were on point by getting to it? How do you, I guess, discern when to keep pushing versus when to pull back? Because he over like right he kept coming back to giving the objections on the money, and then you nailed it.
How did I know to do what exactly?
Sure, to keep like, because he kept veiling, right, like getting to the heart of the matter. Like you kept going and going and going. Sometimes
I mean, his whole his problem was uncertainty. He's like, I don't know, what if, and he was just scared. He's like, well, it's $5 grand that I'm gonna have to pay back. So the problem was his objection was $5 grand. It wasn't really yes, he was uncertain, but the problem was that he kept alluding to this $5 grand that I'm gonna have to pay back. So I kind of closed him pretty I don't want to say it's logical. I mean, it was logical, but more emotional than anything. It's like, well, what's more important, having $5 grand in your pocket or being the man of the house?
Yeah.
And that's kind of hard to argue. It's like, it's more important to have $5 grand in my pocket. Bullshit. You can't argue that, right?
Right.
What's more important to you, being the man of the house, spending time with your kids, going on vacation, or $5 grand in your pocket right now? And the other reason he couldn't say $5 grand right now is because I also reframed it. I'm like, because earlier I kept labeling him, you're a great dad, you're great, you want to be this leader. So in his head, he's like, I'm that guy. So now he can't be like, oh, 5 grand is more important to me. Like, he can't. And then that question I asked him, I asked this a lot, one of my favorite questions. Well, what's going to cost you more, doing this or not doing it? I love that question. It's one of my favorite questions when it comes to that kind of objection. In his head, he's like, well, because the way they think about it, you don't even have to explain what's going to cost you more, doing it or not doing it. Well, if I do it, it's going to cost me 5 grand. But if I don't do it, it's going to cost me everything I could have had. Right? So really, I mean, what I was doing is just raise belief level and gain commitment and like just shift values. Like, who cares about 5 grand? You tell me you want to be the man of the house, but
Right.
you don't care about 5 grand. Right. So really what I did is shift that belief level, or not shift the beliefs and values a little bit there to get him to reel him back in.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's not really like he said something, but it was more like, okay, I felt he's ready. I felt it. I'm like, hey, now he's good. Now I addressed it. I don't feel concern in him anymore. He's ready to go.
Yeah, and you also labeled it like you were like, it's a relatively small amount. You're like, yeah, that was brilliant.
Well, yeah, it is a small amount in the big picture of things, for sure.
Mhm.
And I didn't
Awesome.
feel
Thanks, man.
pressured at all. That's another thing I was gonna say. I didn't feel pressured at all. Like I said, I'll call you back tomorrow like 3 times. And the moment that you closed me is when you said like, hey, like some people that say that they never call me back, or they're not the type of person to make decisions, you know, for their business or, you know, something along those lines. That's when I was like, shit, like I would be starting off on the wrong foot if I don't do it right now, even if I do call tomorrow.
Yeah, and notice how I never said any of that to you, but it was all internal dialect, which is actually powerful. I gotta teach this to you guys one time, how to get people to have an internal dilemma. We'll go over it on one of the coaching calls. Okay, I gotta bounce, but last question, Trevon, let's make it quick.
I wanted to understand how you really tackled his last objection when he said he wanted to call back tomorrow. I want to
Very
understand like
simple. I mean,
what he
yeah,
was feeling.
well, he didn't really want to call me back tomorrow, right? He was just scared.
Yeah.
He was just scared. So I basically devalued the 5 grand physically, the physical value of the 5,000 in cash, and up the value of the outcome that he's going to get. And because of that, then he's able to be like, well, what's the point of even thinking about it? You know, I'm ready to go. Doesn't make a difference. He wants it bad enough. Make sense?
Yeah, it does. Thank you, Dylan.